How do you heal when you can't bring them back? As someone that understands losing someone firsthand, I understand that it's a challenging thing. It's not easy to deal with grief. As someone that lost their dad at 18, these are some things that helped me move with grief and allowed me to heal, even though it's a very challenging thing. It's a hard, long process. They say grief can last up to 8 years. Sometimes we may believe that healing means moving on, but really it means moving with this grief. It isn't forgetting about the person, but more about constantly remembering them in a place from acceptance instead of pain. So number 1 is learning the grief cycle. This really helped me in my journey because grief isn't linear. You may find yourself hopping around these 5 grief stages, and I'm going to tell you exactly what they are so you can kind of navigate where you might be and understand and become self-aware of your own emotions and be more compassionate and kind with yourself, and also understand what someone else may be going through and what stage they might be, and be a little bit more kind and compassionate rather than just think that they might not care. And I'm going to read the 5 stages for you just so you can also understand a little bit of what it means and how it can show up. So number 1 is denial. This isn't real. A protective state where your mind tries to buffer the shock of loss. You might feel numb, disconnected, or feel like life is a pause. Denial helps you survive the initial wave. Number 2 is anger. Why is this happening? Anger often masks deeper pain. You might feel rage towards people, fate, or even yourself. It's a sign that your heart is waking up to the reality of loss, emotion moving through you, not against you. Number 3, bargaining. If I had just done things differently, ... You replay moments and wish for a way to undo them. This stage is filled with what ifs and if onlys, an attempt to regain control in something that is uncontrollable. 4 is depression. It really happened. The weight sets in, sadness, fatigue, the emptiness can feel consuming, but is often where healing begins because it's finally acknowledging what's been lost. 5 is acceptance. I can live with this. Not if only that it happened, but rather I'm learning to move forward with it. Acceptance means integrating the loss into your story without letting it define your future. Grief isn't linear. You can move back and forth between stages, you can skip some, or feel all of them at once. So understanding this is very important, and it helped me so much because in a moment you might feel like bargaining, or you might start reminiscing on the what ifs, and you can then be like, oh, I'm at this stage right now, and have some self-compassion. Or you can be at the anger state, and then you can be self-aware, like, oh, I'm at a grief state, and be more self-compassionate with yourself and kind of know how to show up for yourself. And it really helped me. And also adding on to that is knowing that not everyone is going to grieve the same as you, especially if it's you're grieving someone in particular in a family or friend group, because everyone's going to be at different stages. So just having self-compassion for yourself and everyone else, that everyone's journey is different, but doesn't mean they aren't grieving or they aren't sad. And this grieving cycle isn't just for losing a loved one. This can be losing someone in a relationship, career, a friendship, or even an identity. If you are into personal development or spiritual growth, you know that there's constant grief whenever you're letting go of your old self. So this grieving cycle, if you learn it, it'll really benefit you in all areas of your life. The second thing I did is tapping into gratitude. You can't be in gratitude and in lack or sadness at the same time. So tapping into gratitude really allowed me to alchemize the pain into love, into appreciation, into higher frequency. So how I did this is, instead of saying I'm sad that I lost this person, etc., I would think, I'm happy that I had the opportunity to experience this person for this amount of time. I'm happy that I had the opportunity to have these memories, to laugh with them, to be able to have these conversations with them, and just being able to tap in more into gratitude and love. It just made it so much easier for me and helped me alchemize that. And lastly is knowing that they will always live in my heart. I know sometimes when they're no longer here, it can be challenging to kind of think about them, or sometimes have the fear of not being able to remember them. But I know for myself is acknowledging and affirming that they will always be in my heart. Their energy, their soul, whatever it is that you believe, will always be within me. I can always do prayer to connect with them. I can always, think back at memories, who I am as a person. Their advice or their stories always live within me. And also remembering that because you heal this, or you might think you healed it and then you go back to it, there is completely nothing wrong with that. Everyone is in their own journey, and this just means how much you actually love them, and that is why you feel like that, and that is a beautiful thing. And knowing that this process of acceptance does not mean move on. It just means moving with this grief, because like I said, it can take up to 8 years, and even then it can feel like a forever thing. I know for me, sometimes I would think like, why should I continue thinking these thoughts when it will only cause pain forever, because I will never be able to get them back. And to that, what helped was reframing that into, they'll always be with me. Their energy will always be with me. Their memories will always be with me. And I was able to experience, and kind of adding the gratitude and be like, I can still talk about them. I can still remember them and honor them without having it come from pain. I can honor them and remember them through joy, through memories, through things that they've taught me maybe. And just like reframing and alchemizing this really, really helped me. And hopefully it helps you. I know there's fear sometimes that we will forget them, or sometimes we hold on to physical items because there's that subconscious fear that they will not be remembered, that they're no longer here, that acceptance of like, they're no longer here. And if I get rid of this thing or this item or whatever, that will just solidify that they're no longer here. And everyone is in their own journey, and I would definitely say whenever you are ready, you know what you can handle and what you cannot. But having compassion for yourself during this process is so important, and knowing that everyone goes through something like this, and it's not an easy thing, but the more compassionate you are, you do these things, it will make it so much better. And hopefully this helped. If this did help, or if you know someone that's going through something similar, you can always send this to them. Sending you tons of love, and I'll talk to you soon.